This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast
With Tony Brueski.
We are joined right now by former FBI special agent and Hidden Killers contributor Jennifer Coffindaffer. Let's talk about Kouri Richins a little bit. We've just learned that the fentanyl pills came from the housekeeper about a month before the infamous Moscow Mule poison cocktail took place. We've also learned about some civil lawsuits that have been going on between the family of her deceased husband and Kouri herself. Kouri initially filing that lawsuit saying that I am entitled to what was on the prenuptial agreement. That just seemed completely absurd to me. Prenuptial agreements being for a divorce, not necessarily when you're accused of murdering your husband. Is there any grounds that she has or any historic cases? I can't find any. I've talked to many attorneys where a prenuptial agreement comes into play in terms of getting money while you're being charged with the crime against the person that you want the estate from.
You know, this is one of these cases that I would call a spirit of the law case. Mm-hmm. It is concerning that this prenup was entered into and that it's pretty clear that she would be the person to receive these funds if he died. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't, from my understanding, talk about what if the wife is accused of the murder. In other words, that prenup didn't take that secondary step to say accept.
Yeah,
when.
I'm wondering because I'm going to be getting married here next year. I wonder if I should put a line like that in my prenuptial agreement. Hey, honey, just in case.
Yeah, just in case, babe.
Yeah.
You know, I would think that a lot of prenups may change after this. I think they went with the boilerplate version. Yeah. But certainly the spirit of the law would not allow for her to receive all the, $6 million, I think is in the hopper, mm-hmm. what they're looking at. Certainly, I would think it wouldn't. But, this is going to have to go through the legal system, through a judge. And I just hope, and I have seen in the past where the spirit of the law will carry the day. They might have to make their own case law on this. Mm-hmm. But it's concerning, right, Tony? It's concerning because I don't think there's any caveat in that prenup for this situation.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a very bizarre case. And now we have the sister also filing suit against Kouri herself in a countersuit seeking $13 million. It's so bizarre with the way all this is playing out. And I'm questioning, is Kouri completely just unaware of the optics of this case, of filing this lawsuit and how horrible that looks? Or is this something where it's more so an attorney going, yes, I'm going to represent you, but I would like to be paid at the end of the day?
Kouri Richins is quite the essential, and I'm not saying this from the point of view of a doctor, obviously, never examined her. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but from the standpoint of an agent that has interviewed and had narcissists in their cases as committing crimes similar and alike. And she is just the poster child, it would seem at this point. In other words, I mean, I think she thinks she's entitled, mm-hmm. That she's still smarter, that somehow she's going to make her way out of this. Mm-hmm. And I think she knew about this prenup in terms of reading the language. I think she knew that if it ever came to this, she was going to file. I think she has a decent case. And, she's a very savvy woman. Yeah. I see her as just so savvy and conniving. And I don't know I know you're familiar with a lot of her researches, but I believe she researched sort of comfortable prisons for women.
It was the luxury prisons for the rich, I believe was exactly so it's something that really doesn't exist. But that's what kind of got me was, does she think that these things are actually like you can choose like hotels.com where you're going to go stay after being sentenced?
Well, she has all this thought out, I think.
Yeah.
And she probably, I'm sure there's a list that comes up. I can tell you, federal prison in actually it's the one in Seagoville Federal or State. I think it was State. Anyway, this was a prison I went to often to interview.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So nice. People are planting flowers. There were baseball games going on, television. Everybody had cable. You know why? And I talked to the warden about it. It's because they want to be able to keep the fights and keep the boredom, and controlling through activities works. And I said, well, whatever makes it work. So I'm sure there are prisons that are considered much better to be in than other prisons.
Sure.
Just from being in them, I could tell you that that's a certainty. And I just find it so interesting that it seems like, okay, she's probably going to try to go for a deal.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably going to try to get 10 years, maybe 20 years, knowing she'll do 10. Now she's figured out where she's going to go for those 10. And then, oh yeah, she's going to have the $6 million, maybe $3 million after all her legal expenses, after it's all done. I can just see her playing this out in her mind.
Very much signs of an extremely controlling human being.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's a case I think that bothers so many of us. How many people have heard about this case and then turned to their spouse and said, everything's okay, right?
Just in case. I think we need to make an amendment to the prenup, just in case, because you looked at me strange the other day when I got Taco Bell and you got the chalupa that you didn't want. Just want to make sure, if you kill me, you're not going to get everything I got.
Yeah, it seemed like they had a good life going on until it wasn't, right? Until things turned sharply. But gosh, it seemed like such a beautiful life until a few years ago.
Yeah.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.